The CDC has released a map of the highest cause of death in each state, and some of the results are pretty surprising, especially because I thought I had it all figured out. It must be because of the obesity epidemic or because of gun violence, but no, it actually does differ state to state. So heart disease and cancer are the two leading causes of death in the U.S., but certain causes of death are more common in some states rather than others. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention created this map, and here are some of the results. When you look at California, enlargement of prostate is the top cause of death. Who would have known that? Yeah. It's very surprising. In Idaho and Alaska, plane crashes and boat deaths. Tennessee and Alabama, accidental discharge of firearms, which doesn't surprise me. In Florida, it's HIV. Louisiana, syphilis. New York and Connecticut, inflammatory disease of female pelvic organs. So this is important information for us to know, especially when it comes to something like accidental discharge of firearms. That is a death that can easily be prevented. So when you get this kind of scientific data, it's important to kind of adjust policies to ensure that people aren't dying as a result of these accidents, right? So maybe ensure that these guns are safely secured in a locked safe somewhere so kids can't get their hands on it. You know, those types of things. I think it's very much common sense. But when it comes to health conditions, I mean, a lot of them you can't help. Some of them just kind of happen. Others you can help. Some of these diseases are caused by obesity or an unhealthy diet. So take this information and try to learn from it. Francis, what do you say? Make your point.
So does that not kind of speak what you just said there? Like we assume that some things like heart disease or heart attacks or obesity. Do you not think that might be somewhat of a failure of our mainstream media in terms of health? The fact that, like, I had no idea that inflammatory disease of pelvic organs was one of the main reasons of death, because we're not really informed about that, because the diseases that we're informed about are diseases that are quantifiable by how much companies can make based on it, right? So if you're obese, someone's not going to be like, all right, here's your obesity. No, they're going to give you a healthy alternative that they can sell to you, that you can buy. And I'm not saying that's wrong, because everyone wants to live a healthier life, but it's somewhat discouraging that we're not told about the diseases that are preventable, because maybe someone can make some money out of it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I never really thought about it from that perspective. To be honest with you, I don't even really know what inflammatory disease of female pelvic organs is. And now I want to go talk to a gynecologist and be like, there's no inflammation going on over there, right? Just check it out. But, you know, it is important to educate yourself about these things. Drew?
To piggyback what he said, definitely there's no money in the cure. Yeah. You know, for sure, there's no money in the cure. And awareness. I think the awareness part is the main thing. Like you said, the mainstream media doesn't really talk about it, but if somehow, some way you could get it more into homes and into schools, and just the knowing, like, stuff that you can prevent, like simple things maybe when you're younger that could totally prevent when you're older, like tanning beds, don't tan, maybe skin cancer. So stuff like that is kind of like a little bit of awareness might help. Might
go a long way, absolutely. So what disease or condition do you guys fear the most? This is something that I think about quite a bit, Francis.
I am petrified of senile dementia. Like, just petrified about it, because there's no cure, and you just don't really know. It's hard to kind of detect, you know what I mean? It's hard. It's one of the diseases that's hard to detect and to prevent. But if you find it earlier, it's still something that's going to happen, right? So it's just like, it petrifies me, and of knowing some family members that went through it, I just would never wish it upon anyone.
Yeah. Jeez. This is a very somber video. Drew, what about you?
I would say, you know, like, my mother has breast cancer like 3 times, so it's kind of like cancer in your family kind of makes you worry, you know, certain type of diets and stuff like that. But it's kind of like she's still living, she's doing great, and kind of she's a fighter. So if it happens, you can't really sob about it. She's a fighter, so it's almost like I worry about it, but then you have to accept it and have to figure out a way to beat it. So.
Yeah, definitely. And knowing that with your family's history, obviously go get, screened and everything to make sure that you don't have the cancer gene and all that other stuff. For me, it's definitely breast cancer. My mom has chronic kidney disease that was caused by high blood pressure that she didn't check out. And so as a result, she just started going through dialysis last week. And it's a painful process. It's really difficult. And for some reason, even though I have a family history of kidney disease, I'm not worried about kidney disease. I'm still worried about breast cancer just because of the prevalence of it. And so I've taken like ridiculous precautions to try to prevent it from happening. I get screened all the time, and There's not a lot of scientific evidence to back this up. I acknowledge that, but I don't wear deodorant because I think it's kind of weird to put like chemicals right in your armpit. So, and you know what? This is not true of everyone, but I thought I was going to stink if I didn't do that. And I don't. You rarely stink unless you're like going on a run or something. You're going to be fine. Right. Yeah. So anyway, that was a super personal thing that I just shared with you guys. But that's what we do here on The Point. And I do want to hear what disease or condition you're most worried about. Maybe you're already suffering from something. If you feel comfortable, share your story in the section below. We love to hear from you guys, and we'll see you soon.